games have mature content. So please help me welcome Cody Williams. Cody.
Okay, so just by show of hands, who here has Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas? Okay, one person. So this is going to be great. So how exactly are games created? Does anybody know? Okay, good. So in this presentation, we'll look at on how games are created before they reach your console or your computer, and then we'll look at how to modify these games, because we know games can be better if we make it our own image. So let's get started. Game creation. So how exactly are games created? Well, first it starts off with an idea. The person sitting there at the desk is like, what should I make? I got it. I'll make a game that starts from the 1950s and skews off into a nuclear war. This is exactly what happened with Fallout 3. Then it goes to the board of directors to make sure that they can make this type of game and make sure it's well within time limit. Then they'll make concept art, opening ideas, and then they'll re-edit those opening ideas, and then they'll start off deadlines. As you can see here, this Fallout guy here, also known as the Vault Boy, took developers over 3 months to make. That's quite a long time for this type of person. Then it goes into concept art, which we can see here. This is the main center point of the game. And this is Rivet City. And then we have some more concept art. Note the look of the characters themselves. You can see that they're thin, and the characters have these types of suits. In the game themselves, they become re-edited. And as you can see to the male here, there's obviously a different texture. Then we have the elusive Pip-Boy, which is used in all the Fallout games as a means to look at your inventory and your health. As you can see here, there are many different ideas for the Pip-Boy, but eventually they went with something simple, which was this one right here, mixed in with the glove on this one right here. And then let's look at some NPCs that you'll find in the game. In here we have the Enclave iBot here, the Mr. Gutsy here, the Tri-Military Bot here, the Robo-Brain, and Mr. Prime. All these characters took around 3 to 4 months to actually start off with concept art. But eventually they decided to go with this type of design because it was more streamlined. It was easier to make scripts for this type of design. And in Fallout 3, you'll see most of these characters all the time, like the Mr. Gutsy, the Enclave iBot, which was used by the Enclave to reach out to get people to accept the Enclave for what they were, and all the other robots in between. And then we have weaponry. We have the laser rifle concept art and a handmade model they used in Fallout 3 called the Dart Gun. They wanted to make it look like this person actually built it, so they decided to make something that looked like it was just put together overnight. For instance, you can see that there's a car here, along with a paint gun and a slingshot of some sort right here. And then we have the flame sword here, which is connected to a motorcycle tank. Then it moves into part 2. So as it says here, the game goes into creation, making artists and programmers months and months to make and create, which causes people to screw up on codes, which we'll talk about later on in the presentation. And then they begin to make the characters and then voice acting. This person here made 3 Dog, but we'll look at him later when we look at notable actors. As you can see here, here's a few basic models for the characters in the game. What we can see is the Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas power armor suit here, along with the Vault 101 costume that was used greatly in Fallout 3. And then we have the NCR Ranger Elite right here, which took artists and programmers an estimated 8 months to create, mainly because of the intricacy of the texture. Then we have a few other characters, like, as we saw in the concept art, the military tribot here. And then we have the mysterious stranger. Take a look at his clothing real closely. Can't you tell that compared to this guy up here, it is more detailed? It's because when they programmed this, they wanted to look as detailed as possible. But when you make detail, it makes it harder for the character in the game, aka you, to get this type of clothing. So if you were to take care of the mysterious stranger and take his clothes, you wouldn't be able to because the program and script is not there for that character itself. And then we got the notable actors from Fallout 3. Liam Neeson, who starred in many different movies. One of sorts was Schindler's List and Les Miserables in 1999, played Three Dog in 2003. And Eric Todd Dillons played Three Dog in Fallout 3. Matthew Perry played Benny in Fallout New Vegas. And Danny Trejo played Raoul from Fallout New Vegas. He also played in the movie Spy Kids as the uncle. And then we go into part 3. The game is finished and goes into alpha and beta testing. Well, what exactly are alpha and beta testing? Alpha testing comes before beta testing, mainly because this is when the game first comes out hot off the drawing board and is ready to play, but it's not ready for the general public to take a look at just yet. That is what beta testing is for, and beta testing is where it is released to the general public, but it's a demo version of the game, so they can see what exactly needs to be changed before the real game comes out. Here is an example of the alpha testing. As you can see, it is just a building with no sidewalks or crevices at all to make it look like it's part of the city. And also, if you note, the water tower here is not finished yet because it is a one-way texture. So on the inside, you would see the texture, but on the outside, you would not be able to because it's just one way. Now let's take a look at another beta test / alpha test. In the game Fallout, they decided that they didn't want people to see zeros and ones in the beta test. So they came up with an idea of looking at conflictions using exclamation points and diamonds, as noted here, 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 and here. There was so much wrong with this part of the game itself that they just eventually just scrapped it all. And you probably wouldn't be able to find this in the game because they just completely removed it. And then the game is finished, but far from finished. DLCs or downloadable content is released for games like Skyrim, Fallout 3, and Fallout New Vegas because the game is made to be immersive for the player and the user, which will go into modding right after this, which is what else you can do, which is like downloadable content. Hope to see you real soon. If you have any questions, you can find my Twitter on kags, Steam, exactly the same, and email, you guessed it, exactly the same. So let's take a look at a few devices that can be used. As we can see here. Here are the main things you need to mod this type of game. What you need is Fallout 3, the Fallout Mod Manager, Fallout New Vegas, WinRAR, and the Elder Scrolls if you have it. And then there's also one called the Nexus Mod Manager, which we'll take a look at right now. The Nexus Mod Manager comes from a website called the Nexus, which is the central hub for modification for Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Skyrim, and all the other Oblivion games. Let's take a look at the mods. This is their new version of the game. And as you can see here, they have put everything in classes like unassigned, default, animation, armor, bug physics, buildings, cheats and god items, etc. But you're probably asking yourself, well, where do they get it from? That's where the Nexus comes in. This is called the Nexus, or the hub for modifications. If we go to files and categories, we'll see that it's the exact same classifications here, as noted in these areas right here. And what if you wanted to add a mod to your game? Well, that's what WinRAR comes in, because if you don't have the Nexus Mod Manager or the Fallout Mod Manager, it makes it increasingly difficult to use. That's because you have to put it in manually. That's what the WinRAR is for. For instance, if I were to go to my downloads, and I wanted to open up, say, Project Nevada, and I would open this in WinRAR because it's a zip folder, which means that everything is compressed into one small folder. Then you click on this, and all you have to do is move this into your file folder. In order to get to there, you would have to go to your local disk, your program files x86, which is located in your local disk file, and then you scroll all the way down until you find Steam. And then you go to Steam Apps, and then Common, and then here's the list of all the games on my computer. And we'll go with Fallout New Vegas right here, and then you go to your data. Some of these games, however, require something a little bit extra. This is called the New Vegas Script Extender, or NVSE for short. What this does, it does as it says in the name, it extends your script. For instance, we'll go and take a look at the NVSE. And it is right here. What this does, basically, it allows for more intricate mods, which we'll look at in the game here very shortly. But before we go into the game itself, we have the Fallout Mod Manager, which works about the same as the Nexus Mod Manager, except for one main point. It doesn't download directly off of the Nexus Mod Manager, which allows for more immersive gameplay, so you can take mods from different areas. And then, let's go ahead and take a look at the GEC. The GEC is what you can use as the player to build your own mods. So one of the easier methods to do is to change what the gun does. All you have to do is find the gun that you want. All you have to do is type in can't spell. Still can't spell. We'll just hit the, we'll go to armor. This is where you can change the clothing. So if you want armor combat, all you go is right here. And you can change anything you want about this type of model. For instance, its damage that it can withstand is 15. If I really wanted to, I can go here and change that to 100, making it a potential god item. So now we know how mods are created and the basics of it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the game. What you need to do to get into NVSE for the first time is click Launch NVSE, and it will bring up the launch command, and it will take you directly into the game. So while the game loads, are there any questions at all? Yes?
What programming language was used to make Fallout?
The programming language was a basic ESP and DLL programming.
Alright.
Any other questions? This game does not want to load. Okay. Since the game's not loaded, there it goes. Wow. See, it comes in directly from Steam. With Steam, if you guys don't know what that is, it is what controls the game itself. So if you have a Steam account, and say you download it to your laptop, and then you suddenly, of course, NVSE won't pop up, so we'll just go ahead and play. And you put it on your laptop, but then you get this new desktop. If you didn't have Steam, you had to use the disk that you had before and put it in and re-download it. However, with Steam, all you have to do is open your Steam account, download the application, and hit download, and it will take off directly from there. There won't be any sound because the audio is having some trouble currently. It also means I can't get to Spotify.
Try again.
Right. The music will overlay, so this will only take me a second. My apologies, I forgot to turn off Spotify. Okay. So what I was using for Fallout 3 was Spotify. Okay, now that that's taken care of, let's go ahead and go back into the game real quick. So just go here, launch NVSE. This is how it should have worked. It should have just taken you directly into the game and went past the command prompt. So we'll just go ahead and hop into the game here real quick once it's done loading. She'll take care of you. When you have too many mods in your game, it could tend to bulk it up and cause it to lag a little bit, as we're seeing right here. If you have a laptop or a desktop, it can vary greatly on what type of mods you can put into your game. For instance, a laptop can easily hold over 100 mods, whereas if you have a desktop that's built for gaming, it can hold over 200 to 300 plus. So we'll just hit load. and we'll just do, say, 191. A few of the mods we'll be looking at is gun mods, clothing mods, and a highly extensive helicopter mod once it's done loading. So while it's loading, any questions at all? Okay. It's still loading. This is because there's a ton of mods on this system alone. So I'm running this game at its height level currently. Yes.
How many mods are you running?
Currently I'm running over 98 mods, one of which is a called Project Nevada, which is a highly extensive mod. So a few of the mods we have here is my friend here called Desmond, Willow, and Niner disappeared. Oh, there he is. There's Niner. And these are all fully voice acted models. So if I wanted to talk to her, I would go here and hit talk. And right, the sound's off. No, it's not. Okay, no sound. Okay. So a few of the guns we have here is the cryo revolver, the Tesla rifle, the Model 6 Unica, and the laser rifle. And then we'll get into what everyone likes to fly, the vertibird. So let's take a look at the cryo revolver real quick. In order to get to it, all you have to do is hit tab, and then you go to weapons. And then you find the cryo revolver here. And then it just opens up. And this is what is called the cryo revolver. What it does is if you were to shoot someone with it, like right here, it would cause them to freeze. As noted here, although he still walks. And then there's a few other mods here that are highly textured. We'll take a look at one more gun, and this is called the AK-74U. And the mod creator also adds different modifications for it, like the silencer and etc. As you can see here, it is highly textured. So this mod creator probably took months and months to make this type of machine. And then we have what everyone's been waiting for, the vertibird. But you probably ask yourself, there's no way you can fly this in the game because there isn't any type of vehicles in it. Well, this one you can. As you can see here, it is starting up, and here we go. This allows you for more speedier travel, and it also allows you to do just about anything, even shoot the weapon that you saw outside, as you can see here. So this concludes the game itself. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and if you have any questions, you can find me on Steam or Twitter or Facebook. So now that the presentation is over, is there any other questions before we leave? Yes?
How long does it take a group? So those are all user modifications. How long does it take a group to do a modification like the helicopter?
You're right. The vertibird wasn't just one single person. It was a group collaboration. With something like this, it could take designers and coders by themselves an estimated year to make something that intensive. However, if you have a group of people in a group collaboration, one person makes the model, one person makes the texture, and one person makes the build. So with that type of model and helicopter, it took them 2 months to make. That's still quite a long time, but it's a lot less than a year. Any other questions? Yes.
Is this like all like open source games so anybody could get involved in kind of making these modifications?
Yes. With the GEC, it's open source. The GEC was released by Bethesda Softworks right after they made Fallout New Vegas. So you can go in there and do whatever you want to the game within reason. However, if you had no reason at all and you just wanted to change the way the ground look or the sky look, that's perfectly fine. And you can put it on the Nexus for people to download. Any other questions? Yes, you.
How long on average would it take the helicopter extensive mods like that to download?
Something like that. It took me, depending on your bandwidth and your network, it could take an estimated from anywhere from a minute to an hour. It just depends on what kind of bandwidth you're working with. Any other questions? Yes.
So how many people like are involved in this? How many people play this game? Or
I can show you an example real quick on the Nexus on how many people play this game. So imagine with me, if you will, each file on this game was created by one person. Actually, different people for each mod. And there's 2.5 million people in the competition.
wow.
That play the game alone. However, if you look here, there are thousands of files pertaining to Fallout alone. So if you would imagine that each person played this game and each person built their own mod, multiply that by 10 and then some, because the game is still being bought today on Steam.
Wow.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
So you told us that you were on Twitter,
Yes.
and you're also on YouTube.
Yes.
Tell us more about that. So what kinds of things do you post to YouTube? What do you do on Twitter? What do you tweet?
What I tweet and what I put on YouTube are basically Let's Plays. Let's Plays are what you do when you want to make a game and make it into a video, which is what this program up here in the corner is. This is called Preps. What you can use this is to record your game. However, it lowers your frame rate, so it strongly dictates how many mods you can have on one point. And some of the Let's Plays I do on YouTube is Penumbra Overture, and mostly horror games. If you were to subscribe to me on YouTube, you would also see this presentation up there today. Any other questions?
So what's your next video blog going to be about?
Currently, it's this one. After that, I'm posting a part 2 on Penumbra Overture. However, I still haven't perfected my audio with my computer quite yet, so it's getting there, but it's still a little off. So, thank you for participating in the presentation. And who all asked a question? You did? You did. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Did you ask a question? No.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
So I had another question for you.
Yes.
Have you been down to the game table, to the giveaway table?
I went there a little before, but I got kicked out.
So who's been to the giveaway table? Has anybody been to the giveaway table? Do you know what to do with your sit bucks? Yeah. Do you know what to do with these? So you put your name on them, you sit them in the thing, and they'll have periodic drawings throughout the day to give away that stuff. Especially, I believe it's at the end of the day. So you can earn these as you go throughout the day. Wasn't this a cool presentation? Yeah. So now you know more about the games, you know how to get in, modify them, and how many million people play this thing?
Almost 2.5 million people.
That's a lot of people. Very cool. So let's all give Cody a big hand. Cody, we know you worked hard to prepare this presentation and to put everything together. What a polished, professional job you've done today. I want to give you this certificate for coming today. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Before you go, I'm going to leave this up here before. This is all my stuff that I have currently, like my Twitter, Steam, email. So if you have any questions that you didn't feel like Scott answered, feel free to send me an email or send me a message to Steam or add me on Steam. I'm always looking for extra players to play with. And thank you very much.
Okay, you guys are dismissed. You have a chance to go and use the restroom. We are just a couple minutes early, so you have a chance to go use the restroom. Your orange session, which is the next one, starts at 10 o'clock. Okay, you can find your rooms. You all know where you're going to go for your